Hello everybody, what's up? I want to do something different today. I want to show you guys how to set memory cues and get your songs ready for the club. Get ready for the cdjs specifically. We just want to know how to make cues quickly in Rekordbox, and we want to be able to go to our cues, as fast as possible. I kind of want to go over some techniques on how I set my cues and what other people do, and just some tips and tricks. So let's get into it. This is Rekordbox. As you know, this is the program where you put your songs in and you get everything set up so that you can DJ. Now, when you DJ, you basically have cues. So like this right here is number 1. This is number 2, 3, 4. Now, these are the cues that I have set for this song already. So I can easily press 1, 2, 3 and go to the cues. If we were DJing and actually on the CDJ, we would put these songs onto a USB drive and then put that USB drive into the CDJ, and then we'll be able to actually DJ using these cue points on the CDJs and not have to use a computer. So it's amazing. It's awesome, but it's not technically necessary, because Marauda did say in his Twitter that he doesn't even set cue points or analyze the grid or anything. He just puts them on to a flash drive and just calls it a day and just goes like that. But this makes it a lot easier. Most people do it like this, and this is what I would recommend. Also, when you have multiple tracks and you're playing, deep into the night with multiple people, it's awesome to have these prepared. So let's get into the songs. I have this keyboard showing right here, so you can see exactly what I'm pressing on the keyboard. We're going to go over some shortcuts so that we can make things fast and easy, and I'm going to show you my workflow when setting up these memory cues. There's 2 different ones, memory cues and hot cues. And if you look right here, they're on the right side. Hot cues is like that big rectangle button. I would use those for like turntablism and like scratching and quick switch to hot cues. But for memory cues, they're good when we're just, DJing for a long time and we want to just quickly move throughout the track. And then after we move throughout the track, we'll press Q on the CDJ or right here. And when you hit Q, you'll just keep going back to that song and you'll hit play so you can start mixing in and get the timing and your phase correct. This song's already done, so let's go ahead and pick a new song. I'm going to pick this song, Puppet Master. This is a good example, because if you see, the grid is not correct, and if we go to the beginning, it's not correct. So sometimes you're going to have to fix the grid. It's not going to be perfect. So to do the grid, you just, first you go to one player. That's what I'm on right now. Go to the grid, you hit this button so you can actually set the point that it'll start warping. Well, not warping. You'll set the point where it'll start the grid. So we'll hit that there. We're in 146 BPM, it says. Now the grid has changed. Now if we hit Q and we hit play, we're playing, and let's go ahead and check the grid. Because we see here, now everything's lined up on the snares. And this is what we want. Perfecto. That's what we need. All right, cool. So then we need to set the cues now. So we're going to set memory cues, not hot cues. To do it on the computer, you can do it really easy. And the reason I'm showing you this is because if we're in like the airport or if we're at a friend's house and we just need to, set up these, we want to be able to do it on the computer real quick. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So basically you queue up the track by pressing C. That's going to be the default shortcut in Rekordbox. And if we look over here at the cue loop section, you hit memory to actually set a marker, set a point. So when you hit memory, you'll see it changes up here. And this is the first one. Let's say we want to do a second one. That was like a vocal, and then it like kind of broke right here. So we're going to hit C to cue it. And then after you cue it, you'll hit memory. But instead of hitting memory every time, that's kind of slow. So we want to do a shortcut. And if you look in the actual preferences at the keyboard, player A, this is how we can change everything. It's really easy because all you have to do is, for example, this is memory cue. This is the one we want. You click on this, hit change. I'll hit D. The reason I'm hitting D is because it's the key that's right above C on the keyboard. So it makes it fast. We'll hit OK, reassign. Now it's D to set the memory cue. It's D, so we'll just hit D. And now we have the new memory cue. So once again, C is cue, D is set a new cue. And then what I did as well is I set it up on my keyboard to basically play the memory cues on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So memory cue 1, 2, 3, and 4 is linked to 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I hit 2 on the keyboard, 1 on the keyboard, it switches between the two cues. Let's set a third one. I'm looking for like these kicks and these transients. We want to do intros, breakdowns, build-ups, and then in the middle as well. So we'll do this right here. I usually want to find a nice kick like that. Hit C to cue it. Then we'll hit the D now to set the cue. And because we're using memory cues, we have a lot of them. Instead of hot cues, you only have through H. With memory cues, you have a bit more. So we can set another one on this build up here. C, D. Then I hit space to play. Cool, so that's the drop. We want to let all this play. That's good while we're actually DJing, so that's awesome. You could look through the sections if you want to set another point. Like, this is cool. I'm down to set a point right here. So we'll set a point. I usually set points at these breaks right after the drops and stuff. C, then D. Just skipping, hit C, D. As you see, it automatically locks to the grid too. Perfect, and then we're done with that. So now all these red little markers right here, that's what you're going to see when it's finished. And that's what you're going to see on your CDJ as well whenever you plug in or whatever Pioneer, controller you're using. So that's going to be really nice. Now, I'm going to do one really fast and show you guys how you can do it quickly. So I'll throw one in. This is already set correctly, it looks like. So I'm going to hit C, D. I usually skip like through halfway.
We can kill him.
I just keep going like halfway.
There are monsters inside all of us.
Ooh.
Well, last three. Yeah, they must have fun.
And, I don't really know exactly how the song goes, but I'm just looking at this waveform up here to know where to skip through.
Be very.
You can even do, markers in these little sections where it's just a sub drop and a pre drop. Remember, when you're mixing, you can choose to start at either of these points. So if I go back to my keyboard and I start hitting 4, 5, 6, 7, I can change between these, and then you would hit play when you're actually mixing. Basically, you would mix it in with the other song that's playing. And then this song is done. So then we can move on to another one here. I'll hit C, D. It's already looks like it's lined up good. So I'm looking for the transients of the kick. I'm basically skipping halfway. You'll see with the waveform like this, it's an RGB, which is, you can change right here. Change it to RGB in the waveform. You can see everything really nice. Yeah, that was like a little beats, again, breakdown. We have a little build up right here. So I'm setting all kinds of them. And that is just fine. We'll walk through this one right here. It's always good to have them on the breakdowns and build up and intros. Nice. After you have your actual markers set up, just remember that these are in a playlist, which is over here. Now, whenever you have a new playlist, you can just drag in songs from the Finder into your playlist. It automatically analyzes them. Then you can set up these markers. When it analyzes them, it finds the speed, the BPM of it, and automatically sets the grid. But as you see, the grid isn't always perfect all the time. So you got to be aware of that. After you have your markers set, you basically have a USB, which looks like this over here. And then on your USB, you can just drag the playlist onto the USB, and then you'd be good to go. You would just plug your USB wherever you want and start playing. Cool. And then that is setting our memory cues quickly, efficiently, and getting everything ready for our cdjs when we actually DJ and mix. I recommend this way. This is awesome, but of course you can do whatever you want, however you want. If you guys like this video, leave a comment below, like, comment, subscribe, and do everything that's cool. Support me on my Patreon if you're down. Otherwise, have a good night. Stay fresh. Peace out. Later.
This will be